What's up? Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. We're doing a review of the Machinewise Mojave. If you watch my channel, you've probably seen this in shorts recently. That's because I just got it. So, if you're tired of Mojave content, you don't need to watch this. But I've got some pretty interesting things to point out about it, and I want to share my opinion on it. So here we go. Now, this is the packaging you get the Mojave in, which is really cool. It's a 3D printed sort of case with this little nut here that you twist to get it out. Twist that nut, pull up, and there's the knife right in there. You also get some of this graphene pivot lubricant. All right, I haven't tried that stuff yet. And then you get a COA. Comes on this kind of, I think it's aluminum. Little card dealio. Pretty cool. I think they laser print this, obviously they're writing the info, but they laser print the rest of the stuff on. I know that because my laser printer came with a bunch of these little cards too. So kind of a cool way to do the COA. I like that. So you grab the knife up. It's held in by the spine down this little slot. Pretty cool. I'm guessing that's just like super glued down in there, the orange part. Oh, that's the slot where the COA comes in. Okay, I was wondering how that fit in there. So the COA goes in that slot. Okay. There's a little slot right there. So A+ for having, interesting packaging for sure. We had a video a while back about packaging. Is it necessary to have cool packaging? Do you care? Do you care if it's just a cardboard box with your knife in it? And there were mixed reviews, mixed opinions on that. I think on occasion it's nice. Oh, what? I didn't even notice that. Look at that, dude. You take apart the knife with it. I think it's a what is it? It's pretty big. Definitely bigger than a T8. I think it's like a 15 maybe. That's pretty cool. A lot of people care about packaging. Some don't at all. I'm kind of in the middle where it's cool, but if you're going to mark up the price of the knife a lot, then I don't need it. You know what I mean? If you could give me something pretty cool without the price of the knife going up too much, then yeah, then I'm cool with it. So this is the Mojave from Machinewise. Now you might notice it looks a little different. That's because I recently deleted the flipper tab and the lanyard loop. So this is kind of a customized Mojave. And I'll go over that in a second here. First, a little history about Machinewise. They were a balisong manufacturer first, and then they recently started making folding knives. The first was the Sonora, which is a button lock. And then there was this one. I've tried the Sonora, and I really liked it. The one that I tried was a little mushy on the detent, but I hear that has been fixed, and the newer ones are nice and snappy. I think it's a pretty cool looking knife. I think overall this one hits me a little bit harder. I think this is a really, really cool looking knife. It's a very striking look. And I gotta say, without the flipper tab, I think it really cleans up the look even more. I think it just looks, the lines of the knife kind of just flow a little bit better with that flipper tab gone. And also the lanyard loop gone. Now, if this was... Now, I hear rumors that on new ones, they're getting rid of this. So I'm assuming they will just fill in that space and there won't be this little dip, which I think would be perfect. If this was just filled in, the back spacer could come all the way back to the butt, these little jimps or whatever. I think that would be perfect. Man, it's just, it feels so good without the flipper tab, but we'll talk about that later. So means of deployment is now just the reverse flick, and it's a pretty good reverse flick. It's not like crazy snappy. It's pretty good. Doesn't feel mushy at all. It feels snappy in the sense that it pops out nicely. For some reason, it's not the most satisfying reverse flick that I've felt, though. It might have to do with the noise, maybe? It's just kind of like quiet when it's locks out. That could be part of it. I don't know. There's just something about the reverse flick that is not 100% satisfying to me. And it's not the D10, I don't think, because it's snappy. It really reliably flicks very nicely. I think it's the sound. I honestly think it's the sound, which seems like kind of a very nitpicky thing, but I don't know. That's just what I've noticed. But as far as how the action is logistically, popping the knife open, it's really good. And the flipper action was really good too. Excellent even. I thought even better than the reverse flick, honestly. Very snappy, nice jimping on it, but I just thought the look would be improved with it gone. And I just kind of wanted to try something fun. So I did not delete the flipper because the flipper action sucked. Quite the opposite. The flipper action was really good. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at the knife. We got some micro milling. It's kind of larger than a micro milling. It's definitely a nice pattern. I mean, it's not a pattern. It's a bunch of lines. But you know what I mean. It's nice. I think it provides a little bit of grip. Not a whole lot, but definitely breaks up the kind of smoothness of the handle. It's not a contoured scale. It's a flat scale. Nice big hardware. I really like the big hardware. I think that looks great. You got their logo on the pivot. It's like is that a hexagon? I don't know. I always forget my shapes. But it's a captive pivot, so it's not spinning. It's sitting down in there. And then we have the clip side, which I think this is a great clip. I think it really flows nicely with the knife. This curve in the handle is matched by this curve on the clip. It's flush with the butt of the knife back here. I think that's pretty neat. It's kind of recessed down in a little pocket so that it can't rotate. I'm getting a little bit of movement, so it can move a little bit. That could bother some people. It's not a lot, but it's pretty noticeable. I'm guessing that just has to do with the fact that it's open on the back here. If it was completely encapsulated four sides, I don't think it would do that. But there's just one screw holding it in. It's this screw that goes all the way through into the clip. So a little bit of movement there. It doesn't bother me though. There is a flat spot under the clip, so you're not gonna tear up your pants pockets. And that lock bar relief cutout is on the inside as well. So it is a pretty good experience putting this in your pants. And it is nice and deep carry. I really like that. Sitting really nice and far in your pocket. Very, very nice. The lock bar cutout is pretty thick. Looks like it's done by an end mill rather than like a wire EDM machine. Again, that could bother some people as well. I mean, I like them when they're thin. I think a really thin lock bar cutout is cool looking. But I don't need it, and I wouldn't say it necessarily bugs me. It is quite wide though. I think it might be the widest of any knife that I own. There's the Rask and the Rosie. Let's get out some other frame locks. Yeah, not as wide as that one. Let's see, how about a quiet carry? I won't get them all out. The Mac 2 is pretty wide as well. Is it? I can't tell if it's just the chamfer around the edge that makes the Mojave look wider. It might actually be a little bit wider. So yeah, it's pretty wide. But, that's just an aesthetic thing that might bother some people, might not bother other people. We got this long fuller that goes all the way to the tip of the blade, which you don't see very often. In fact, it's a pretty interesting blade shape all around. It's a sheep's foot that kind of tapers down, toward the tip. We have a nice swedge here, actually a double swedge. We have like one right here and then kind of a secondary one toward the tip there. I really like how you can see the tool path kind of inside that fuller still. You know, they didn't polish that out or grind that out. I think that's a pretty cool look. I enjoy that. And also, actually, you can see that texture on that swedge as well. It's not like a stone wash like the rest of the blade. So yeah, pretty cool look. Now, the smoothness is very, very nice. It's more of a hydraulic action, not hydraulic like a Shirogorov, but hydraulic where it's just a controlled drop. It's not like the Rask where, you know, it's like that. It's a controlled drop. It's extremely smooth in the fact that it's just glassy. You know, that detent ball that's riding on the tang of the blade as the blade rotates is hitting very, very little friction, very little bumps. It just feels like it's gliding effortlessly. No sound. It's completely silent, which I really appreciate in a knife. When you hear that like kind of like grinding sound is annoying and makes the knife feel cheaper. So that's great. I think they did a really good job with that. The info is up here, up on whatever part of the knife you want to call that. S90V, I got number 472. There you go. I like how that's flush with the scales up there. That's really nice. Lock bar release or lock bar access is great. You know, you can see you got nice access there. And there's a little texture on there too. Now, speaking of the lock bar, this is something that I noticed. It looks like the interaction between the tang of the blade and the lock bar insert. You know, usually on the tang of the blade, that cut where it interacts is kind of at a slant down this way to prevent the lock bar from moving over this way. It looks like it's not a 90-degree to the blade stock, but it seems like it's not quite at it's not at a very large slant because you can actually push this lock bar over. See what I mean? Like it naturally wants to fall about right there, which is fine. But you can just push it and move it all the way, almost all the way across to the other side, which I don't love. You know, sometimes when you're gripping the knife, I can feel it moving under my grip. It's not like, the lockup's not failing, so that's good. I just think that the interaction needs to be at a different angle, you know what I mean? So it can't travel over. I could see possibly a problem being over enough time, you know? This lock bar is going to want to travel that way quicker than other knives with a steeper angle there. So it's not a problem right now. I could see it possibly being a problem in the future. If there's any knife makers watching, maybe you can shed some insight into that, because I don't know too much about it. It just, I know that, like, if we look at some other knives here, you can't really see on that one. I can't really see on that one either. I can't find a good example right now. You guys know what I mean, right? That angle right there. It's usually kind of slanted like this, whereas on this knife, it's kind of like that. So that's kind of the only nitpick I could find with the knife, besides the lanyard loop that I deleted. But like I said, they're probably not going to keep that, at least from what I hear. I could see them also offering flipperless versions. I think that would be a great idea, because I think this looks really nice. Another cool thing is the centering is absolutely spot on perfect, and you can kind of see the blade centered over that little notch in the backspacer. It almost looks like as they were making it, the blade like went too far and hit and like carved that notch into the backspacer. It's kind of like the same size and angles as the edge bevel is. I think that looks pretty cool. I like that. It looks thinner than it actually is toward the tip. It's just the swedge that's making it look that crazy thin. But it just looks neat, you know? So overall, I think it's a really, really well done knife. you know, with this lock bar engagement thing, you can kind of maybe tell that they are new-ish to making folding knives. You know, it seems like an experienced knife maker may have solved that interaction and went with a different kind of angle there. But you know, you gotta learn by doing, and they're doing really well, I think. You know, for their first two folding locking pocket knives, I think these are really, really good designs, and you could tell that the quality really is there. You know, they're not just charging, you know, $750, $850, whatever it is for, you know, the name or for, you know, nothing. You know, you can really tell that the work and the time and the precision has gone into these knives. So it's a keeper for me. I really like this, and it's going to be a work knife, and it's S90V. Now, the other kind of interesting thing is the sharpening choil. You know, it's really not notched in this way very far, so that, and as a result of that, the edge bevel kind of ends a little bit oddly there. I wouldn't call it a smile because it's not, you know, the plunge grind is way back here, so the separation is good. It's not getting thicker. It's just that, you know, typically our edge termination might have kind of almost a right angle end, whereas this one's kind of at a large angle. I thought about cutting in a little deeper sharpening choil on this, but I decided not to. It's, you know, it's really not a problem. I don't think. I'm trying to think after a few sharpens how it would look. I don't know, really. It might start to look a little weirder. And that could easily be solved just by notching this out a little deeper. I don't think that would really mess with the lines at all. Maybe a little. But yeah, that was the other thing that I noticed. So, and by the way, this is the edge that came with the knife. It's like a really high polish, really nice edge, very sharp. So that's cool that they take the time to put that kind of nice edge on their knives before they go out. So there you go. There's my, oh, I want to do some size comparisons real quick. It's a deceivingly large knife. I didn't even really realize that it was as large as it was until I put up some other knives next to it. It just doesn't feel that big for some reason. I don't know why. Here's a pyrite and an 80-20.5. It's got almost a 3.5 inch blade, and it handles 4 3/4. So you got like 7 1/4 overall. So it's pretty big, but it just doesn't feel like this. Also, it's nice and light. I think the weight is really good on this for the size. 3.6 ounces. Pretty good, you know. The Rosie is 3, and it's much smaller. So yeah, I like it. Shit, I almost forgot. We have to draw the winner for the Concept Model 6. On a video last week, I decided to give this knife away at the end. So if anybody watched the video to the end and you left a comment using the keyword in that video, you're entered to win. So let's go ahead and draw. I have it all set up here already on the old laptop. So this is the URL up here to that video showing off my toys. That was the video that everyone entered into. Got the keyword copper right there. 132 comments, and let us choose a winner. Eugene F15, man. He said, I would choose the Shiro for myself, though that is a tough decision. I love the copper carbon fiber, but I have yet to pull the trigger on a knife with those. Something or other, with those. It's not showing me the rest of the comment. Cool. Congratulations, man. You won this. Where is it? Where did I put it? Oh, it's over here. You won this knife. It's really beautiful. This copper carbon fiber is really cool, especially in the sunlight. I hope you enjoy it. hit me up on my Instagram, which is duties_daggers. Or if you don't have Instagram, my email is kevindutyvideos@gmail.com. kevindutyvideos. And shoot me your address. I'll get this sent out to you. Congrats, buddy.